Hi, my name is Sofia Galante. I'm a sophomore student from College Drummond. Did you know that in more than 60 countries, the freedom of religion is not respected? This means there are still countries that don't care about people's rights. Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that everybody has the right to believe in what they want and express themselves freely. It protects people from prejudice caused by prejudice to different thoughts. Prohibiting people from following their beliefs is a violation of Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Because despite the violation, we people need to get united and use our voice to stop such violations. In this speech, I will talk about the definition of religion, In this speech, I will talk about the definition of freedom of religion and belief, a well-known but also very important fact, and a complicated situation that is happening in Nicaragua. To begin with, let's talk about what freedom of religion and belief is about. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, freedom of religion is the right to choose what religion to follow and to worship without interference. Now, people may believe that this right only protects people who have a defined religion, but it's much more than that. It protects all people, whether they believe in something or not. Which means everybody, without exception, has a right to believe or disbelieve anything. Who has never heard about Anne Frank, the 16-year-old girl who kept a diary telling the perspective of the Jewish civilians in World War II and became a historical character, and her diary turned into a bestseller book. The narrative reminds us about the 6 million Jews killed by Nazi army because of their religion and nationality. But that was a long time ago, right? Nowadays, this is only history and persecutions are in the past. There is a more recent example, Nicaragua. The government that was elected in 2006 is still in power, and is still in power was against any type of expression of thought, and according to El País, 351 people were killed in Nicaragua, and prevented people from entering Catholic churches. Making sure everyone can express their beliefs, religion, and thoughts is crucial so we can have a fair and free society. Several countries are receiving Nicaraguans, such as Belize, Costa Rica, and El Salvador. But what about those who can't leave their country and still suffer from this violation? That's why we need to make sure everybody understands they have the right and no one should take it away. Until everyone has their rights, we cannot stop talking about it. This is our right, because not only belief, but our thoughts must be expressed openly and without judgments. History, like Jewish persecution, teaches about what we not to do in the future, but there are some lessons that still need to be learned, and places like Nicaragua still violate the Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's a duty of everyone to defend religious freedom and promote it for all people, by Pope Francis. This topic matters because if you want to respect others, when you profess your religion, you need to respect others. Thanks so much.
Hello, good evening. My name is Natalia Motsandin. And this is me, a 15-year-old girl who has the privilege of having access to a good education. But unfortunately, that's not a reality for all of us. Michelle Obama, former US First Lady, once said that when women are educated, their countries become stronger and more prosperous. But did you know that according to the Human Rights Council, Afghanistan is the only country where girls are prohibited from going to secondary schools? Without education, we women can't raise our voices when something we don't like or agree happens. Without education, every other right can be taken away. Taking away the power of choosing what your future may be, as it happens to many girls in Afghanistan, where they are denied the essential right to go to schools, is a violation of Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says that everyone should have good education and benefits. Today, you will learn that African women are denied education, that the prejudice against them is getting worse, and how our voice can impact this issue. Everybody says that everyone should have a good education. However, good education is the education that actually happens. Age, gender, sexuality, and ethnicity doesn't matter when the topic is education. It is essential to everyone. That's why it is essential to everyone. Educated people can change the world, and that's why Article 26 of the UDHR is so important. Those with more education tend to be healthier, earn more money, and have more options in life. Societies also gain from this because higher rates of education levels are associated with improved general health, less crime, and increased civic engagement in society. In 2021, shortly after Taliban took power in Afghanistan, they denied girls from going to secondary schools. In December 2022, the prohibition was extended to universities and women were no longer allowed to work as professors. The government is denying one of the most important rights, the right to education. Now girls can only attend school up to the age of 12. Can you imagine something like that? They took away a right that could build up a country and change its future. These actions are not just impacting an entire gender in a generation, but the future of the country too, as UN expert Richard Bennett, special report on the situation in Afghanistan, said. Well, much more, women are not only denied education, but are also prohibited from doing human interactions that were made for everyone. Taliban prohibited them from working the majority of professions, mandated that they cover up in public, and also prohibited them from going to parks and gyms. As UN experts say, after Taliban took power in Afghanistan, 20 years of progress for women and girls were erased. Women have no voice in Afghanistan. In an interview to BBC, a 15-year-old Afghan girl said, "If these limitations increase, I don't think this life is worth living anymore for women. We don't have access to our basic rights as human beings. Life has no meaning without education. I think death is better than a life like this." As absurd as it may sound, Taliban said that they did all of that to continue with the national interest and women's honor. I'm sure we can all agree that it's not the right reason. Malala Yousafzai, one of the fighters for girls' education in Afghanistan, said, "Taliban is afraid of smart women, and that's why they ban them from education. We need those intelligent women, not only in Afghanistan, but around the world. The girls need to show their voice to the world, and there's no better way than through education, because it opened up a world of possibilities for the future." Afghan girls are suffering prejudice, excluded from social interactions, and being left without one of the most basic and fundamental rights, the right to education. Remember, I am a 15-year-old girl, and I can't even imagine going through something that they are passing. The world needs to know what is happening to Afghan girls. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Valentina Bittencourt Teixeira. I'm a sophomore at Colégio Drummond, and today I represent an essay. Let's delve into the consequences of poor education and why everyone deserves the right to it. Next, let's reflect on the statement. If education alone cannot transform society, neither will society change without it. It's a profound truth. Education and society, they are connected, influencing each other. To transform society, we must invest in education. And education shapes the society we become. They live in harmony, inseparable, and powerful. Now, let's address inequality. And even stepping stones can make the journey harder for some. Inequality weakens the very foundation of our society. Envision a world where every step leads to progress for all. This is the society we strive for, one where equality paves the way for everyone. Delving deeper, the consequences of not having education are stark. It leads to poverty, social isolation, poor health. Education is the remedy, lifting individuals and communities. Every person deserves the right of education, and its absence brings consequences we must collectively overcome. With all these, we can conclude that everyone has a right of education. Next, we have Brazil educational ranking. Why does Brazil rank 53rd in general education? It's a question worth exploring. Factors like insufficient investments and challenges in inclusive education may contribute. Let's aim to understand and address these issues for a brighter educational future. Moving on, critical factors that government should invest in for a better education include teacher training and appreciation, school means and health programs, and education resources and technologies. These investments foster a conducive learning environment, empowering students and educators alike. Next, let's underscore the importance of education. It empowers individuals, reducing social, racial, religious, and economic differences. Education is the cornerstone of critical and moral thinking. It's not just knowledge, it's the key to a more equal and brighter society. Concluding our journey, let's talk about habits that improve education. Reading regularly, taking practice tests, and studying groups. These habits transform learning to a collaborative and enriching experience. Together, these habits can elevate the educational journey for everyone. Let's talk about Tabata Amaral, an incredible change education brought to her life. She was born in favela, and education became her way out. With hard work and good learning opportunities, she turned challenges into victories. Tabata's story shows us the power of education to transform lives. To finish, I need to reinforce that every person has the right of education. So let's strive for a society where education is a beacon for all. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm José Henrique Gomes Sampaio, and I'm a sophomore student at Colégio Drummond. Did you know that the life expectancy in Nigeria is only 55 years old? That is almost half of the life expectancy of developed countries like Japan, almost half of the time you can spend with whom you love. The Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that everyone should have the right to access good quality health services. But this is not the reality in Nigeria, where the life expectancy is only 55 years old. Not having access to a good quality health system can cause many deaths, and it is a serious violation to the Article 25. But even though it is a difficult issue to overcome, together we can do it. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights has 30 articles that clarifies every single right every single human being should be provided with. The Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that everyone should have the right to adequate food, water, clothing, housing, and medical care, which means good quality health services. According to the World Health Organization, access to health is defined as the universal coverage, which means everyone should have the right to access it, regardless of where or when they need it, and it needs to be in good quality to be effective. In the past recent years, we came to realize how fragile our species is to many diseases and health problems. COVID-19 is an example of it. But there are many other diseases like malaria that still threatens the Nigerian people until nowadays. In 2021, 619,000 people died because of malaria, and 31.3% of those deaths were in Nigeria. But you may ask, isn't malaria treatable? And the answer to this question is yes. So why are so many people dying because of it? The answer is the lack of investment. The national budget allocation for health in Nigeria is only 5%, which is consistently below the WHO recommendation of 15%. In 2000, Nigeria was ranked by the WHO as the 4th country with the worst health system, only topping 3 war-torn nations. After 2 decades, Nigeria still has one of the worst health systems, even though they are a large country in terms of economy. And although Nigeria has a good economy, a relatively good economy, 40% of Nigerians live in poverty, in social conditions that create ill health. There are many things that even I can do to change the situation. Small speeches, campaigns, most of the small public events can help us help Nigeria, because we will start to influence each other, and then one by one we will change an entire country. Hunger and death is not a reality, so we tend to ignore it. We are not used to see people dying of malaria, for example, like in the streets or even if in our own houses. There are many people or groups that say that we can't help Nigeria, but this is not a reality. But they prefer just ignoring it and not investing, even though they have the capacity to do so. And this still causes many deaths. In fact, Nigeria's Human Development Index didn't change much from 2015 to 2022. But if we start to give the due attention and support to this country, the situation will drastically change. We can see that we can help Nigeria, and that Nigeria's health system is not adequate, and that simple diseases like malaria still causes many deaths. Now, doesn't the fact that many people are dying because of the lack of something they have the right to access bother you? Imagine the people you most love dying in front of your eyes and you being unable to do anything, and then you tell me what you think we should do. Nothing, or stand up for our own species. We have a voice, and we can make a difference. Thank you so much.